Hi, I'm KP, and I'm going to be making what's called Do Chua today. Do Chua translates from Vietnamese directly into sour stuff, and what that basically is pickled daikon and carrot. Do Chua is used in a lot of Vietnamese dishes, but the most popular of them is the Banh Mi, which is the Vietnamese sandwich. You've probably seen it on TV or been able to order at some like trendy deli or something like that. The first thing you got to do when you're making Do Chua is, or pickling anything really, is creating the pickling brine. I found that these mason jars that are available from like Kroger or Ralph's or Publix or what have you, they make really great containers for pickling jars. So the pickling brine that I use is 1-to-1 water to vinegar, and it's got about a cup's worth of sugar in it. I like to take one of these mason jars and fill about 2/3 of the way before adding, fill up 2/3 of the way with the brine before adding the pickling substrate or the vegetable or whatever you're going to pickle. So it's pretty simple. I do 1-to-1, so 1/3 of this I'll fill up with water, mix in the sugar, and then I'll fill up another third with the vinegar. Pickling, the pickling brine is not, it doesn't have to be extremely precise. So everything I do with this is typically eyeballed. That said, it does require a lot of sugar, so that's why it takes about a cup's worth. So now that I have my sugar dissolved, I'm going to be adding the vinegar. What you didn't see in that break was that I actually forgot to microwave this. I microwaved the jar with the water in it so that it makes it a little easier to dissolve the sugar. It's kind of a rookie move by me, but when you're doing this, just go ahead and microwave the water a little bit so it's warm. It'll make dissolving an entire cup of sugar a lot easier, trust me. Alright, so now that we have the sugar water, the next part is to add the vinegar. Like I said, I like to do about 1-to-1 water to vinegar. So I'm actually closer to about halfway here. So I'm going to be filling up almost the entire jar with the vinegar just to keep the solution at the right balance. There we go. Give it a little shake, just in case there's any remaining sugar that's undissolved. Alright, now we can set that aside and start preparing the daikon and the carrot. So you want matchsticks of these things about yay long, and somewhere less than a 1/4 inch thick. When you're cutting the daikon into matchsticks, you could of course just cut off however long that you want the matchsticks to be. I like to go about maybe 2 inches. And then you just pare it down until you're able to make decent sized matchsticks. So we're using this method to cut the daikon. You would cut the daikon, or the carrot as it were, into little cards like this. And after you have the little cards, you just cut vertically. Until you have matchsticks that look like so. And if you're gonna be making a lot of Vietnamese food, this is gonna take up a lot of time, and it's frankly just not the best way of doing it. You know, we as a civilization and a society have the technology to do this a lot better. This is like a julienne slicer, and all you gotta do is take your daikon and you just run it up and down the slicer a few times, and just like that, you'll get little matchsticks like that. If you're using a julienne slicer for anything, there comes a point where you just have to give up, and this is what that point looks like. You don't want to be trying to take a little nub against this or any kind of grater. It's dangerous. When you're done grating or slicing up the daikon, transfer it to a large bowl like this. Now that we're done with the daikon, it's time to take care of the carrots. And I used an entirely different technique for the carrots. It's pre-washed, it's pre-cut, and it's exactly what we're looking for. So take the carrots too, and add this to the bowl as well. So you may or may not want to add the entire bag of carrots. You want to maintain a certain ratio of daikon to carrot. A lot of people go 1-to-1. I honestly like to go a little bit more daikon than carrot, because the carrot taste is a little stronger than the daikon. The daikon is generally fairly mild. So 1-to-2 is a pretty good ratio. I like to go a little closer, maybe like 4-to-7 perhaps. And finally we get to the pickling process. For this you'll need sugar and salt. I would say roughly about maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar, about 1 to 2 tablespoons worth of salt. At this point, it's not really important the exact amounts. You just need a relative amount. And the reason for that is this part doesn't have a lot of impact on the flavor of the do chua at the end. What this is doing is processing the do chua, the daikon, and the carrot into a pickled state. Once you have the sugar and the salt in there, along with the daikon and the carrot, like so, what you do next is make sure you have clean hands, and you just start massaging it and working the sugar and the salt into all the pieces of daikon and the carrots. What you're looking for here is a softening, or you're looking for the vegetables here to get kind of mushy, and then you'll also see fluid start to pool at the bottom. So I just cut away about 4 minutes worth of just massaging this. Around 4 minutes, less than 5 for sure. It shouldn't take too long. But before long, the carrots and the daikon are going to get nice and flimsy. They'll still have a little spring in them. That's why that one jumped out of here. But you should also see a decent amount of fluid build up at the bottom, like so. And that indicates you're just about done with the pickling process. What you need to do now is rinse. To rinse it, just transfer from the bowl into the strainer. Give it a good shake to get that fluid out. Just run it under cold water. And once you've done that, all you gotta do is transfer it back into the solution that you've made before. And before long, you'll be done transferring all the daikon and the carrot into your jar. What's important to note though is this is not yet do chua. Do chua is a pickled product, so this is still pre-do chua. What we have here is what's going to become do chua in about. Some people say it'll be ready in about an hour. Some people say wait overnight. I would recommend going overnight if you can, but I found out the minimal amount of time is about 3 to 4 hours for it to pick up the sourness and the sweetness that is do chua. So there you have it. I'm gonna throw this in the fridge, and now it's time to clean up. I hope that helps. Hope you found what you were looking for, and I hope you enjoy some delicious homemade Vietnamese food soon.